Hi, welcome. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chrissy and I live here in Australia. And today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 17th of April. Now, I've just got Penny here who I'm babysitting at the moment. So for anyone new to my channel, I just let my guides channel through to you and I get messages to you. So if you've tapped on this video, there's a high probability that there's a chance, a message in this video for you. So stay watching. Now, I'll just close my eyes and we'll just get started and see what comes up for the 17th of April. Oh, now I'm getting that there's a lot of vested interest in the reset. Now, we know, and I said early, or I think at the end of last year, that they're going to be using the climate crisis as their big tool and their big narrative. I mean, they could only... Well, they can still use the virus, but they needed like a new plan moving forward. And climate change was always going to be the one that was going to be really easy to use, because when you think of climate change, it affects so many avenues. Like it affects the water, it affects the heat, it affects the floods, it affects the fires. And every country pretty much gets affected by climate because it's a common thing. It's very normal, actually. But this is their big agenda. So there's a lot of push for the reset going forward. And I think in most countries, we're all really aware of that now. We know like exactly where this is all headed. And it's not like we have any great say in it. They seem to be just implementing it without a vote, which is kind of very bizarre because it's such a huge thing generationally going forward that will change all of our lives, including our children's lives. And this is what I'm getting. I'm getting that the push is really great now. They're going to really push and implement these things really fast. And it's capturing people's attention. I'm definitely getting that it's capturing people's attention because people are like, why is there this real mass panic around climate change? And it seems so abrupt. See, it's moving at an abnormal pace. People are getting bombarded. And that's why I'm saying that people are waking up a lot in April. Oh, you can't even see me. Penny, she's a bit of a camera hog, isn't she? People are waking up in April because of the rate that they're trying to push things out. Because they also know, and what you've got to realise is that they know that if too many people wake up, and this is what I'm always saying to you, if too many people wake up, they rise up and it interrupts their agenda being rolled out. So they don't want people waking up. So they've got to use whatever tools they can to keep people quiet and keep people in their right place, I would say. You know, they want people staying sat down. They don't want people rising up against them. So this is what's happening. But people are starting to really query the narrative of all this, like the climate change. They're just pushing and pushing solar, wind farms, electric cars, hybrid vehicles. This is being pushed down people's throat, and it's being pushed down very, very quickly. Now, this is the dynamics of change. I think we all know like that this is kind of what's happening. We can't avoid change, but it's that pushing of it so quickly in their agendas and trying to smooth out their path because we know what they're wanting to implement, that it's starting to wake people up. Now, I keep saying people are waking up, but they are waking up. And people wake up because of different reasons. Like I said, some people's lives have to collapse in order for them to rebuild. But it also is that people start to see that there's no logic in some of the things that they're actually really, really pushing and implementing. And people are asking those questions now, like all of a sudden, what do you mean you're wanting us to all get electric and hybrid cars and suddenly our fuel prices go up? See, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to sort of do the maths on that one, do you? Because it's... Fuel prices go up. Gosh, how are we ever going to afford fuel? They keep saying there's all these shortages of everything, the AdBlue and all this kind of confusing narrative. And so this is what's happening. People are going, well, what's going on here? And that's when people start to panic again, because they're panicking, thinking is there going to be no more unleaded fuel, no more diesel? What are we going to do? How's this going to happen? So again, you've got people in that. See, it's a narrative because again, and I know if you're watching this video, I know that you see it. again, they work on that fear and the mass psychosis again, but they just use different tools. I mean, the virus we know is still hovering around. They're milking that till there's like nothing left of it. But this is what they're doing. They're very clever and they're very smart, and they can manipulate people to push through their agendas. And as we all know, it's not about climate change. They're not interested, and I think we all knew that about. I don't know. Not all cultures are the same, but I know in the Western populations, government never really cared about older people. They were happy to shove them into old age care homes and never people not to see them again. They've never had great respect, and all of a sudden, when the virus hit, it was like, oh, take care of the elderly and protect your older relatives and the vulnerable and the sick, and that's, we know that's a lie in the Western culture, sadly. And I'm not saying that's me, but overall, we're not like a lot of these countries. Like, I know, is it the American Indians rather? They really respect their elders and they listen to their elders, and they take their wisdom and their knowledge. Well, a lot of the Western cultures are not like that. So these are the kind of things that start to like not add up. All of a sudden, they're wanting to protect the elderly from getting sick and viruses, and like, I still can't go into an old age care home here in Australia, like still. So luckily my mum lives at home on her own. She's like 86. Fortunately for me, she's not in a home. I wouldn't even be able to see her still because I don't have a passport to get through the door. But this is kind of what I'm saying about all of a sudden this is happening. But meanwhile, as well, government is closing down old age care homes. So how's that caring? Here in some of the local towns, they're shutting down in the regional areas the old age care home facilities. So I'm confused, and I know you guys are confused with how this is all mapping out, and that's why we see things very clearly. But this is what other people are starting to see now, because they're getting, well, why have we been having to get to protect to protect older and more vulnerable people, but in the next breath they're shutting down aged care facilities? Like, this is where it's just adding up to lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. And that's just the narrative. They use different narratives all the time. I think we all know how that's going. Hopefully not depopulation, but there's certainly some strange things going on out there. I'll see what else we get today. Now, I'm getting a lot around dining out. Like, dining out is a struggle. People are not going to be able to afford soon, the way the economy is going, to dine out and to just go and have a nice meal or have a coffee. These things are going to become a real luxury, because when interest rates go up, which we know they're going to, and when cost of everything goes up, which it already has, food, fuel, you name it, people aren't going to be afford to do those luxury things. So, you know, we're not going to be able to be eating out. So again, here we go. Small business, they're going to be struggling because people aren't going to be going out anymore. This is happening. This is already happening. Small businesses still got restricted numbers in some countries. I'm sure you still got certain amount of people that are only allowed into certain venues. And they've all struggled during this whole thing. It's always been hospitality and retail that have struggled through this whole process, because, as we know, big corporate is ready to come in and take over and implement and have everybody working for big corporate. And small business is just slowly being wiped off the map. And people still aren't seeing that. I know you guys are seeing it, where, you know, the rose-coloured glasses are definitely come off us a long time ago, and we're seeing through where this is all headed. This is all heading to that dystopia and the big corporate world that we're all going to be working for, and we're going to be told what we can and can't do and what credit we've earned. We know where this is headed, but a lot of people still don't know what's actually going on in the background. But like I said the other day, this is surfacing. Things are starting to surface, like I said in my oil and water video. the oil is now laying on the surface and it can't be pushed down and hidden anymore because oil doesn't absorb into water. It doesn't merge. So it's just floating now. The information as it comes up is still floating. It can't be pushed down. So every time we get that data with Pfizer, that's a positive thing because there's more and more information getting out and more people talking about it. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep talking about this and keeping the truths alive for people to figure this out for themselves. So I'm definitely getting that. There's a lot going on at the moment in the current energies. Oh, and of course, I flicked the TV on for 2 seconds this morning because sometimes I do like to have a bit of a laugh, and I'm sure you guys do too, at what they're currently saying on the news. And of course, now there's the threat of imminent nuclear war, and this is worldwide. This is very global. So, of course, now they're feeding masses of fear because when anyone hears the word war and nuclear, and now everybody's in panic mode and getting affected, of course. I did have to have a bit of a giggle myself. So that's the latest now. They're going to be pushing the big nuclear threat, and this could be the big, World War III that they've all been discussing. So again, here we go. Let's get that fear. We've worked on the climate change and all these protests and things going on around this. So meanwhile, we've implemented the things we want. We've passed a few bills in Parliament, same old stuff, and no one can protest now against anything. So now we'll spring the fear up again. So I think we've all got to be really aware, and I know you guys are watching this because we have managed to detach. But whenever they're pushing something as enormous as that, you think about the nuclear threat of war to like an older person sitting in their home, or people who are very isolated, or just get Penny, and sitting on their own at home, and they will become frightened because they will feel like Australia is about to get bombed by a nuclear bomb. And this is the information that they're feeding people now. So whenever that happens, and that they really work on that mass fear, and that's a pretty major way to do it, we have to know that something is coming after that and that something will follow. So we can pretty much be guided that as this is all going on and all the distractions, that meanwhile they're rolling out their great big reset agenda, and they're implementing more things, and the passes will even become more important now because they'll want to know that you're not a terrorist and that you're not carrying any nuclear bombs onto a plane, or this is we know exactly how it's going to go. So but they're going to be keeping you safer by being more strict on everything and closing some borders. And I mean, gosh, we're not stupid. We know exactly how this is going to play out. So just be ready for that again. There could be more border closures, or some countries could be getting more diligent now around their security and their oh my goodness, they're going to really focus on that kind of terrorist thing, because now it's got everybody on alert in every country because there's a high probability of nuclear threat. And it's never ending. And I've got to say, they're pretty good at creating these things and presenting them to people. It's just exhausting, isn't it? And I understand if you're watching this video that it's getting very exhausting, but it is actually great, and it can be quite freeing to go and do those things that remove you from all that chaotic drama. And that's how we save ourselves. And I think a lot of you out there are already starting to do that. We know the stupidity of everything that's being implemented and what's going on. And it's a matter of people waking up, because people have to see that, where did our lives go? 2 years ago, someone actually posted something on Facebook the other week, and I thought it was great. They said, 2 years ago, if only we knew that our life as we knew it was going to be gone forever, we would have had it like a big party. So it's like, oh no, if only we'd known back then, we would have really enjoyed ourselves and done a lot of fun stuff before we all got like locked down and put away in our little boxes. And now they're still using all this nuclear war threat to frighten people again and to keep people scared. And Oh, and of course, by doing that, it also keeps people glued to the news, because then they want to hear what's going on and are we safe, and then that's going to become the topic of conversation instead of the vaccine information and data that's coming out. People won't be interested in that because they could be blown up by a big bomb tomorrow. So this is kind of the stupidity of it all. I mean, we know that makes no logical sense, but to people who are just seeing that narrative on the news, that would be scary. They think they're going to get bombed. Oh my goodness. And that's what people are kind of getting. They'll keep watching the news because they want to be fed. It's almost, you know what it almost feels like to me? Like sometimes that mass psychosis, it's almost like a drug fix, isn't it? Fear becomes like a drug. It's like a need that people need to put into their bodies. So it's very strange. It's like it's a state. It's a state. It's a state of being. It's a vibration. See, the fear vibration is very different to the vibration of freedom. If you think about those two things, love, well, they say love is the opposite of fear. So the more you can love your life and feel good, it's very uninhibiting. You feel that sense of freedom. And I know a lot of you guys watching my videos have found that place as well, where you feel like really free. You're not trapped in that fear bubble of living away and tucked away and wearing masks and scared and putting the news on and worrying what's happening. We're out there like walking our dogs, kayaking, like I said, mountain walking, people are camping. We're getting on with the show. Yes, we might have to make some adjustments and there's a lot of things that we can't do. But, you know, we're still living our life around this, and this is what wakes people up. Like I said, they want to start living theirs too, but they just keep getting fed these narratives. And look, that you got to give them credit because they are very clever at making the narrative bigger and bigger and bigger and like totally huge, that then people retreat again and they retract and they go back into their fear. So, you know, this is why I said to you the awakening process is going to take time. It might take well into 2023 because what happens is people will start to come out towards the light, and then what, we're hit by a nuclear bomb threat, and then they run back into the tunnel of darkness. So this is what you've got to have patience for as well. Just, you've got to be the ones that keep just shining the light, staying strong, enjoying your life because it's here to be lived as well, and just live your life around it. I know it can be challenging with the mandates and things like this, but a lot of those are getting dropped now. But it's going to be really interesting to see moving forward, like what else they're going to feed people on the media, because now that there's that imminent threat of nuclear war, they're going to have a lot of people watching the news. And I think if you switch any of the news on, you'll be shocked at some of the stuff that's coming out. And what a perfect distraction from all the injuries and the people who are starting to talk up about their jabs and the things they've suffered and why weren't they given the correct information about this. And well, no, they're going to say now, you've got bigger things to worry about now, like the imminent threat of nuclear war. So this, oh gosh, I don't think you could get much more of a bigger threat than that. So it's going to be really interesting to see where we end up in April, because I feel like there's a lot going on, isn't there? I did say there would be a lot going on, but look, stay focused, keep shining your light, stay really strong, don't fall for the new narrative. We've still got the terrible virus going on, and we've still got the climate change drama that, goodness me, we've had the floods and everything here in Australia. It's just like extreme. And of course, as we know, so they can lay down their rail system. They've wiped towns out with floods, and now they can lay their smart trains ready for their smart cities. Oh my goodness, they have so many plans, we can't even keep up with it, can we? So this is what I'm saying, like, don't fall for these narratives. I know you guys won't, because that's why you're watching my channel. But just like I said, sit back, watch the show, have a bit of a giggle. When you do put the news on, you'll probably get a laugh in the next few weeks, because this is just going to get more and more ridiculous. So yes, oh dear, They're pulling out all stops now when they're talking about world nuclear threat and that we're all going to be blown up. I mean, gosh, people would probably prefer that than having to deal with this stupid bloody lockdowns and mask mandates and things we have for the last couple of years. That's not living anyway. So, you know, everyone's going to have a different viewpoint on this moving forward now, aren't they? So this is going to be the talk of the town. And great distraction from getting everybody's minds off the truths coming out and what's actually going on and how this has damaged lives and where did the virus get created? You know, these are kind of a lot of questions that people are really starting to ask, and they don't want people asking those questions because then they might get answers. So here we are dealing with nuclear threat of war worldwide, aren't we, Penny? So look, I just wanted to get on and have a quick little chat today. I'll see if there's anything more that comes up today. Now the guides are saying we deliver. So I think you've got to have hope that the information is still coming out. So when the guides are saying they deliver, they're talking to you watching this video. So they're delivering to you the things that you need to keep strong and to keep moving forward. Now, whether that be synchronistically that you get more information about the truth, it could be that more truths come out. We know the Pfizer data is still coming out constantly. There could be other things coming out. I mean, look at Boris Johnson apologising for the party that he had and all this sort of nonsense. Now, how bad can a virus be if you're happy to have a party and everything, but you're locking everybody down? See, it's the double standards, and people are seeing that now. They're going, well, how could it have been that dangerous? He was so worried, and yet he wasn't worried. So, see, the logic's not there. So these are the things that are coming out, and that's why April's a good month for things coming out. So the guides are saying to you, if you're watching this video, that they deliver. So just trust in your guidance, trust where you're being led, hold your strength and your personal value, because you have a lot of value in this waking up process, because you are that light. And I say that all the time, just keep shining your light, being honest, talking about your truths, and the guides are saying that you're, oh gosh, the guy, Penny, she's like, takes over the camera. You're being definitely divinely guided because you are awake. You are awake. But people are waking up. But you got to remember they're going to slip back into fear, because fear becomes like an addiction. And that's what the mass psychosis kind of did to a lot of people. It created these addictions to anxiety and fear. And we've moved through those emotions. We sort of probably had the anxiety and fear more about how we were being like vilified by society, or how we felt different in the way that we saw things and view things and the way that we think. And that's probably what I'm really getting today, is that we've moved through those emotional states. But the difference is with us, like you guys watching this video and a lot of other people, is that, Benny, is that we move through ours and we move to those higher kind of levels of thinking, which is like using all our senses, whereas a lot of people get dragged and pulled back in to that 3 dimension. But we do have those skills that we can see things from different levels, as in our intuition and our sensitivities and our gut feelings. Like, we listen to those sort of things, and that's what Betty and that's what this is about. This is about using our complete spiritual body, and that's what the awakening is. It's not about just living in 3 dimension and seeing things that are just right in front of you. It's about seeing things on a much or from that aerial viewpoint as well. It's like looking down on things and seeing things in a much clearer way. It's like standing on the top of a mountain. You can see 360 degrees all around you, but if you're down the bottom of the mountain in the valley, you can only see a little bit. So you don't have that perspective and that sort of viewpoint. So you've got to just have patience and trust that people might get pulled back into these fear narratives and things, because it is an addiction, but they're still seeing things. Things are coming out. So that's the message for you watching this video today. Trust, believe, have faith, be strong, and just know that people are still waking up. It's a waking up process. Like I said, it's the great awakening. People people have to go through their soul collapse in order to find out who they really are. And it's like when you're born on this earth, you pop out of your mum's womb and there you are, and that's who you are. But then as we go through life's journey, it has an effect on us, and it can take a toll on our strength, our personality, our confidence. And now this is what's happening. This is the rebuild. So it's like tearing down the old hurts and the pains of the past, and rebuilding and refocusing into our strengths again. And so I'm going to leave you with that today. That's what the soul awakening is. It's about, like I said, the caterpillar into the butterfly. It's the emerging, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. There's so many great sayings around these things, and that's what the awakening is. So stay strong in April. There's still things coming out. I'm going to take Penny for a walk. Oh, she's been a good girl. She's going home in a couple of days, but I have enjoyed having her. And I will see you in that next video. Take care, everybody. The truths are coming. Don't worry about the narratives. If anything else, have a bit of a giggle and a bit of a laugh, because we all need a bit of a laugh, I think, don't we, to keep moving forward, because this journey is absolutely crazy, and we know that people think we're absolutely crazy, but we can't unsee what we've seen. So this is where our higher mind and our intuition and things knows that this is actually happening. So take care, everybody. Bye from Australia. Please comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when my videos pop up. And have a wonderful Easter. The weather here is stunning. I hope it's beautiful where you are. And stay strong, everybody. Bye. Bye from Australia.